Good morning, good chilly morning. It is April 25th and it's still a bit chilly in the morning. It is around 48 right now, but I'm ready to plant this garden. I'm ready to get my stuff out of the greenhouse. I don't want to wait much longer. We're almost into May, so I'm going to start getting the garden going. My husband tilled it out last night, the tractor, so it looks really nice. The soil is all deep and fluffy. And I'm gonna make some rows this morning, and we're gonna get these tomatoes out of the greenhouse. And I'm gonna gather up some seeds and see what else I have in the basement and get some stuff started. So I'm stringing up the garden. I'm using just some fiberglass posts, just whatever you can use, a stick to hold some string. Tie some string, take it all the way down your row, and this will help give you a straight row. And then I usually just measure from here to here, just so I can get it even starting my first row in. There are several things that you can make a row with, but I generally every year use this. This is a little one-wheel plow, and I love it. I also use a hoe, so there are options. And this comes with like a little attachment that makes like a heel, so if you need to make a row that has a heel on it. Time to plant the tomatoes. I'm going to plant these about 18 inches apart because they do expand quite a bit, and I recommend no less than a 4-foot length between your rows. I do 6. They really expand in their growth, and I really made the mistake the first year, and it was literally a jungle. I couldn't even go between the rows. I think I have some videos on here of it. Now when you plant your tomatoes, plant them as deep as you can. Go, as far up on the plant, at least to the first leaf. They will grow new roots, and it really makes a stronger plant. You can also put some compost or some fertilizer in each of these holes before you put the tomatoes down. That's a very good thing to do. I have a lot of it in my garden already from the chickens. Looks like we've got a new technique this year. What's your thoughts?
Off the ground. So that I can keep it cleared out underneath it.
Oh, okay.
It's always a pain to. I don't know if it's going to work.
Oh, we don't know yet. Is the water going to go through here okay? Because it's bent like that. I don't know if that's going to work.
This hose is terrible. This hose is awful. It's so limber, and it's not a good hose for this.
This system might not work.
I know. We're going to try it in a minute.
Well, don't use all my zip ties before we figure it out.
You can go up there and drag the hose down.
All right, I'm going to get the water hose. It's probably going to get too dark for me to film. His plan didn't work. He's not being very nice. Are you going to smile? He's not smiling. What am I supposed to do with this? Right hither. This is where we had it last time.
All right, we're going to have to buy hoses. Look at this.
Y'all, I'm ready to do the potatoes, and potatoes are so easy to do. You literally don't have to go to like a farm store to get your supplies. You can just use potatoes from the grocery store. Just, let them develop the eyes on them and harden off. And then they're ready to go directly into the ground. You can put them like this in the ground. I've done it before. Or you can cut them up like each individual eye and it'll be a separate plant. That's what I try to do to kind of stretch it out. But I also used the excess of potatoes I had last year. Like the year before, I had a bunch of extra potatoes left, and I just used them to replant in my garden. So they're very easy to do. You literally you drop them in the row, and I'll show you in a minute, and then you just peel it up, and they are the best potatoes ever. Way better than the grocery store, and you can just go down and pick one throughout the summer and have a meal with it. Now I've already dropped them in the ground right there. I'm gonna try to do them about a foot apart and just go in this row all the way to the end and then heal it up with dirt. Now, as time goes on, the next time I heal it up, I will not use dirt. I'll just use straw. That's what I used last year. It seemed to be pretty successful, but you can do it with dirt also. But I used my stuff out of my compost pile for my chicken coop. It's kind of bright. All right, guys, welcome back to Sickville. This is the only place that I come down to while I'm sick. I've been trying to get to the greenhouse a little bit while I'm sick just to get some fresh air. In the last video, I told y'all I felt like I was coming down with something. Well, I did. And it was last Sunday, and today marks the next Sunday. It's Mother's Day, May 12th. And I have honestly just been in total misery this week. I've been really, really sick. Tuesday, I went to the doctor. They tested me for flu, strep, COVID. It was all negative. I was having like the worst sore throat of my life. It was so brutal. So I went back Thursday. I was thinking, you guys got it wrong. Surely that's strep or something. They tested me again. It was negative. And went home. I'm having congestion and achiness and fever, and Seth's like, you need a test for COVID. So we had a home test, and I thought, yeah, maybe you're right. Last time I felt very similar. You know, why their test was negative, I don't know. Maybe it just didn't show up yet. So I tested, I was positive, and I have been utterly in misery. So I went back today because I can't sleep. I feel like I can't breathe, and I'm like coughing so much I feel like my lungs can come out. And so they gave me a steroid shot and like a prescription medicine for cough and congestion, antihistamine, decongestant. And I'm praying it works. Y'all say a prayer for me and pray that Joe and Seth and Eli don't get it. And then I'm on my way to healing. I've tried to get down to the greenhouse and sit in my little chair. That's what I've been doing. I feel like fresh air will do me some good, and some sunshine coming in, like some vitamin D, soak through my skin would help. But that's all I've been able to do. I'll show you guys some stuff that I need to be doing. I'm getting behind, but I mean, you can't do anything when you're this sick. There's nothing you can do. You know, I've got to get my shea cloth down. I had that here when I had the tomatoes, and I don't need it here anymore. I mean, it's not really hurting anything, but kind of just be able to look out the windows a little better. But let me scoot over here. Ooh, what is that creature? No. I don't know what that is. It's not going to stay in here, though. I don't usually find stuff like that in here. So my garden, y'all, it needs weeding very badly. It is going to be terrible by the time I can finally get down there and get around the tomatoes and the rows. My husband can obviously till the rows because they're 6 feet apart, which is great. You can get the tiller in there. But between the plants, I was going to do plastic this year and just didn't do it. Now I'm kind of regretting that idea. So, and maybe it's not too late to roll it down. If I can even get out to the store and get some cardboard to put down. But I haven't been able to go anywhere. My husband's had to do everything for me. Feed the chickens and literally hand me everything I need and do everything for me. And I'm not that kind of person, so that's really difficult. And I also don't want him getting sick, so yeah. Okay, enough complaining. I'll show you guys around the greenhouse. There's something that's bloomed in here. It's really pretty. So 3 years ago, my husband got me this on Mother's Day.
And it's an amaryllis, and it blooms every year. Like literally, it's Mother's Day, and it opened up just so beautifully. Look at that. And it's got another one coming out too right there. I just love it. It's a bulb, and it doesn't go completely below the soil. It sits above it like that. And then after the bulbs come off, sometimes it'll bloom a second round. I mean, it's done that for me here in the greenhouse. And then it just has this foliage right here. So it's really neat. Y'all check out my lemon tree. It's looking good. The lemon's getting pretty good size. A lot of succulents. I asked Seth to get me a bag of soil because I'm out in here and I need to repot all kinds of stuff in here. Separate pups. I've got all kinds of little propagations going on that need to have their own pots now. I did a bunch of the Huernia zebrana, which is the lifesaver plant. And I've got a big pot of them there and a whole bunch of them outside that I need to separate into little pots because it has the coolest bloom and somebody might even want some of them. And this thing is like crazy out of control. I really need to take some of these out and put them in their own pot. Look at this aloe. It's really cool. Some Graptivaria growing out of there. And this is just where I'd throw a leaf down in this little pot and it just flourishes. They start growing, just filling out. My pothos, looking good. My Wandering Jew. Lovely, lovely echeverias. Look at my donkey's tail. So pretty. Everything is just really happy right now. And then I've got another aloe that's been bloomed out. And y'all, I want to show you something really special. So I got an orchid like 3 years ago from one of my favorite greenhouses. It's Innovative Garden Supply, and they gave me one, and I've showed you guys it quite often, but it's bloomed. And it's just got a beautiful bloom, but yesterday I was down here digging around my plants and realized around the post back in here, it's got another side that's bloomed. It's just never bloomed that much before. It's like into this succulent pot, into my crown of thorns, which has a bloom on it. Everything in here is just super thriving at the moment. Very happy. But this is my spot, and I'm gonna try to work on getting the greenhouse organized and cleaned up and repotted and all that kind of stuff. I gotta turn the vent fan back on. It is getting warm in here, and I don't need to get overheated. I think I could probably walk out into the flower garden and do a little walk through. It's wild right now. It needs to be mowed, but of course I can't do that right now. I'm not going to push my body. I really want my body to heal. There's been times I felt like this is the end. I'm serious, this week's been bad. My little zinnias are coming up. I've got some petunias. Look at that one. That's pretty. Ooh, the color on those, amazing. One of my tropicals out here for the summer. I've got some dahlias I put in there. We had so much rain the other day. It was just awful. So it's kind of compacted that soil. I'm going to put some new fresh stuff in it and loosen it up. And then here on the end where I was wanting to do my little flower bed, it's just wild and crazy. I planted a whole bunch of flowers in it, but just haven't been able to get in here and work or do anything. So hopefully that's something I can get to this coming week. But there's a lot of zinnias and a lot of sunflowers, and I'd like to plant some lavender and then just clean this up and maybe fix my lawn again and get it going nice. And then I've got a wild sunflower growing. I always have those, y'all. I just welcome them anywhere they come up.